Notice the hereby given that the mayor and city council of the city of Nogales will meet in regular session Wednesday, March the 2nd in the city complex chambers. And if anybody has a cell phone, please put it in vibrate or turn it off, please. I call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you please lead us to the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Invocation will be done by Asaf Crespo from El Centro Familiar Cristiano, Nogales, Arizona. Would you please rise?
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank God for the privilege of being here tonight, and thank you to our mayor for the invitation. I want to read a quick scripture from the Bible here, which says, "And seek, inquire, for require, and request the peace and welfare of the city to which I have caused you to be carried away captive, and pray to the Lord for it, the welfare of the city in which you live, you will have peace." Okay, we thank you, Lord, for guarding our city. It is in you, O God, that we trust. Strengthen our will to build a city in good standards, peace, and unity. I ask your blessings for members of our city council, our city mayor, Mr. Arturo Garino. I ask that you bless their lives and their families in a special way. I pray that you prosper our city, and may it be known there is a loving God protecting over our city of Nogales. We thank you for what you have given us and for what you are yet to give us. With no doubt, you will open the windows of heaven and pour the blessings upon our beautiful city of Nogales. In Jesus' precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Item number 4 is recognition of the Nogales High School varsity and JV basketball team. And we're going to start with our JV team. Are they all there? They're present right now, all of them? Not all of them. Not all of them? Oh. Well, one of the things that I want to say as mayor and on behalf of myself and the council is that this has been it's a great year. Honestly, this is a great year. Because we're here as a council and as a city trying to improve the image of our city, which is very important to all of us and you. But the greatest thing of all is to have a junior varsity team to go undefeated and possibly creating and probably having a dynasty for future basketball in our city. It's unbelievable. So as mayor and representing our council and the council itself and staff, we want to congratulate you all, and I'm sure you're going to lead us into another victory in the coming, if not next year, the coming years. There's no reason why we shouldn't build a dynasty in the basketball. It's great. You guys did yourself. I want to thank you very much. Out your names, and as I read out your names, you can come up and you will be receiving a certificate of appreciation from the City Council. And then what we can do is maybe you can stand right here after everybody's done, and then we can take photographs. We'll start with the JV team. Okay? First one is Jan Aguirre. Next is Alex Armenta. We'll save it for him. He's a champion anyway, too. Miguel Corrales. Luis Garcia. René Garcia. Carlos Jiménez. Kevin Lucero. Andrés Márquez. Francisco Mazón Orozco. Brian McCarty. I hope I pronounced it right. There's no H in this one. It's not McCarthy, is it? Is it
No.
McCarty? Okay, I was right. Fernando Parra. Martín Quesada Rivera. Marcel Rentería. Chris Urquides. Isidro Valdés Cota. Thank you very much. And
Do we have, are you players? Are you a player?
is there any more JD?
Yes.
No, is that all? That's all?
Okay.
Go ahead. Take pictures of the future basketball right there. Yes. Can we fit in the console in this one too?
It's all right.
He's on the next dance. That's cool. Okay. Coach, I'm gonna you're gonna be coming up in the round, but this it's okay. Thank you, sir. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the champions. Believe me, every single one of us up here and everybody in the city of Nogales, we're very proud. And one of the most important things of all is that you're going to help us create the image that Nogales deserves. And for us to be not only recognized as we recognize you in our city, but for the whole state of Arizona to recognize us as a city and the home of the Nogales Apaches, the champion basketball team. This, read it or after?
After, sir.
Okay. After I give you your certificates, Vice Mayor Nogales will read she's got her own words she wants to say, and I'm sure all of you know what this one is going to say.
Yes, my kids.
Joel Bracamonte, number 30. Brian Cervantes, number 25. Federico Cooper, number 3. Victor Dominguez, number 21. Eric Maldonado, number 13. Is that Eric? He wants this plaque to his certificate. Octavio Martinez, number 5. Sergio Merino, number 44. Francisco Mesa, number 22. Joseph Monreal, number 23. Luis Parra, number 12. Cesar Solis, number 11. Aaron Valencia, number 33. And to a friend of mine that graduated with me from high school, the coach.
Right here, mira, para que salgan los monstruos.
Ahorita falta uno más. Sí, falta más. Now, this is assistant coach George de la Riva. Assistant coach Rubén Verdugo. Volunteer assistant coach Guillermo Memo Valencia. And least but not, well, last. Miren quién es Rudy Molera. Volunteer assistant coach Rudy Molera. Is he here? Okay. And then team manager Marcos Valdez. Thank you. Let me hold up.
Smile big.
Smile like a champion, huh? Thank you very much.
I just want to thank, God first of all for keeping us safe and healthy. Above all, I want to thank the city of Nogales for inviting us and recognizing these young guys. They had the moment of greatness at the state championship, and we want this for them and for those kids that went through our program that cried when they didn't get to that goal. And this is for all of them that went through our program, and these guys were the ones that were chosen to win this state tournament for us. One of the things that I told them that their moment of greatness was the last game of the state playoffs, because we all have that moment in our lives, and thank God these guys had it at the last game of the state playoffs, and they achieved something that it took me since '83 that we didn't get a state trophy, and finally come home with it. They put the Nogales, the city of Nogales on the map. I mean, all over the nation. There were people watching it on AIA65.com in New York City, in Connecticut, New Mexico, all over the place. People would send us emails, and they were so happy because they were Nogalians. And we are so happy to play a big part in our community. And I want to thank the administration who was behind me all the way. I mean, Fernando Parra was great this year with Tim and Steve Zimmerman, and all the fans. Without them, I mean, it's impossible to win a state championship. I thought we were playing at home. We had so many people from Nogales. But I want to thank you, Mayor. He's my classmate, and I'm glad that you were the mayor.
Thank you.
That this year we won the state championship.
I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, guys.
Vice Mayor has something to...
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, because the vice mayor is going to be, she's going to read something, and I want everybody to pay attention. There's something that she wants to read on her behalf and the city council.
Thank you, Mayor. On behalf of the mayor and our city council, we would like to congratulate our state champions. My hat off to the state champs and coaches for such a great victory. You have put Nogales back on the map after 28 years. What a great job you all have done, team and coaches. I would like to congratulate Mr. Colgate for such a fine job he has done as an athletic director. He has done marvelous things for our school at Nogales High School. Also, congratulations to the JV basketball team for such an accomplishment, 18 and all. We hope they become the next state champs in 1 or 2 years. Wow, we should all be proud of them. Such team is a great job they all did. Last but not least, I would like to recognize our wonderful principal, Mr. Fernando Parra, for such an outstanding job. He has pushed us and has reminded us every day how to progress and have patience with our students. Our athletic department has always had the support of our principal and vice principals. I also wish to thank Mrs. Judith Jimenez and Mrs. Aisa Bonillas for being the best 2 assistant principals we have. Their support towards our principal and our school has been tremendous. Good job. Congratulations to all. I feel very proud to be part of NHS. I also want to thank all of our students, parents, community, and Rio Rico for their outstanding support at each game that our champs had to face. You wonderful fans made a great difference in us winning the state championship trophy. Woo.
You know what? I forgot to thank the parents. Without the parents, this is not possible. Believe me. Without those parents, this would not be possible for us to win. Thank you, parents. Whoever, if you're here, I want to appreciate all the things you did for us. You know, by bringing these kids to practice every day and making sure that they were hitting the books to make the grade. I appreciate everything you do for us. Thank you.
You want to be excused, and you can go ahead. But if you want to stay here and attend the council meeting, It's very important. You guys take care. Congratulations. Congratulations. Don't forget your coffee. Hey, the trophy. We'll keep it.
Good job.
Now, we ready for city business?
Yes.
Okay. Item number 4-A. It's something new that we're going to be doing as a city council for the next 12 months in reference to Arizona history and our centennial. So these are Mayor's Arizona History Fun Facts. I'm going to read a couple of points here, and then I'm going to ask questions, and we'll see who passes the test. Prepare yourselves. The first governor of the state of Arizona. George has it? Yes. George, let me finish, George.
He was there. I was there.
He was there? He said that? That's a good one, George. The first governor of the state of Arizona was George Hunt. As a matter of fact, he was also the 2nd, 3rd, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 10th governor. He also ran and lost twice. He also served 7 times in the territorial legislature and was elected president of the Constitutional Convention. His motto was, "Remember your friends and forget your enemies." Isn't that a good one? A good motto, huh? First mayor of Nogales. Since mayors were elected in April and statehood was February 1912, Dr. A.H. Noon was the mayor at the time of statehood. Dr. Noon was a native of London, served in the British cavalry in South Africa. Before coming to the U.S., he founded the town of Eureka, Utah, where he was postmaster and justice of the peace. He arrived in Arizona in the late 1870s, also served as a correspondent to the Chicago Tribune. For many years, he was the only doctor between Hermosillo and Tucson, but not the first doctor of Nogales. The history of known doctors is for a later fact of history. Second mayor that year, soon after Chaplain Leander West Mix became mayor and served as mayor from 1912 to 1916. Mayor Mix was from New York and arrived here in the 1880s or near early 1890s. He arranged the purchase of the first fire pumper from Tombstone. The pumper was named Willing and Able and is in the Pimeria Alta Museum. He was considered the father of the Nogales Fire Department. As mayor, he supervised the construction of the Nogales sewer and water system. He also laid the cornerstone for the Nogales City Hall on November 14th, 1914. He was the first mayor to serve in that building. He was a noted businessman, serving as partner in the firm of Roy and Tickham and a partner in the international drug company with Jesus Aldamando. Question: did you know the battleship USS Arizona was named by someone in Arizona? Anybody know that one? George?
I was in the Army, not the Navy.
Anybody know? Anybody know that point of history? No? You guys need to visit the Pimeria Alta Museum. Nogales, Arizona is the gateway to history for the whole state. Nobody, you know that one, do you? But nobody in the council can answer. This is for the audience. Naming of the USS Arizona was the idea of Mayor Leander W. Mix in 1914. Being that it was his idea, Esther Ross from Prescott christened the battleship. Mayor Mix attended the christening. Esther Ross married Gary Ray, moved to Nogales, and ran the Big Curio store. You guys know which is the Big Curio store? Yes. See? George, you and Lefty were there.
I read them.
It's now owned by Mrs. Lopez's brother.
Yes, that's the same one. Also, the raising of the money for the silver service was dumped on him because of his idea. The mayor teamed up with Alan Bird, the first newspaper publisher in Nogales, of the Oasis newspaper, which published its first edition in 1893. After raising the money, Mayor Mix presented part of the silverware to the first captain of the USS Arizona at the launching. See? This is the beginning. We got 12 more months of this. 11 more months of this. Oh, no. No, but the next one is, we're going to, different councilmen will be reading the next one. So it's going to be like a homework for them. So this is part of our Arizona history and Nogales history. So this is the beginning, guys. So next time, when you attend the council meeting, please take notes because we'll be testing them. ¿Verdad? Council, we're going to be testing them? Yes. Okay, we're going to have item number 5, call to the public. Luis Arturo Díaz.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Luis Arturo Díaz, tengo 22 años trabajando para la ciudad y lo que vengo es el día de enero fue el señor Billy de Yankees y me dijeron que el problema de sanitation estaba en problemas y nos preocupamos. Entonces empezamos a buscar y encontramos que hay una compañía recicladora aquí en Nogales. Sin embargo, aquí la ciudad tiene estos folletos y no se recicla nada de basura. Entonces nos gustaría si los miembros del concilio fueran mañana, que es el día de reciclaje, para que se viera lo que se recicla y lo que no se recicla. Eso es todo.
Bueno, más querías, lo que quieres es que veamos nosotros para continuar con el reciclaje.
Continuar con el reciclaje porque como dicen que estamos en números rojos y luego el mes pasado sale al señor Dilly que hay dinero con una gráfica que enseñó. Entonces no sabemos en qué posición está el departamento. Entonces nos gustaría que fueran y vieran lo que se recicla, lo que no se recicla, el contrato que hizo la compañía nueva recicladora y por qué no se está reciclando. Y luego otra cosa, dicen que hay gente de la ciudad que está recogiendo cartón. Entonces dicen que le están robando a la ciudad. Y yo pienso que no, al contrario, nos ayudan a no pagar ese tonelaje que se está llevando la gente. No sé qué les parecerá.
Bueno, lo que podemos hacer entonces es agendarlo o si no, tomar una sesión de estudio para ver qué podemos hacer con eso.
Ok,
Bueno,
muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Item number 6, consent agenda, and I entertain a motion for item A and B on consent agenda.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second. Thank you very much. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 7, consideration and possible action of the reappointment of 3 citizens and appointment of 1 new citizen to the City of Nogales Board of Adjustments.
Mr. Mayor,
Go
I
ahead.
move to approve the reappointment of Dr. John Knobloch, Ms. Yvonne Ragland, Mr. Eddie Stoller Jr., and approve the appointment of Mr. David Longstrom and Mr. Raymond Corey to the City of Nogales Board of Adjustments.
There's going to be a correction on that.
Yes.
Mr. Lundstrom is not going to be part of it. It's going to be Raymond Corey.
Right.
Mr. Lundstrom is already in another commission within the city. Yes, Mr. Parra.
The way it's written here, it says that you have reappointed and appointed the citizens to the Board of Adjustment. Is that the correct language, or you should change it over to say that you recommend the appointment?
On the consideration, it's actually a reappointment of 3 of them, yes. It is because they're already sitting in their post.
You're recommending, you didn't appoint the people. In other words, you're recommending.
Well, of course, we can go ahead and put that verbiage in there.
The agenda language, as it states, it's being brought to you by the mayor's office, but the action is a council action in the reappointment of the 3 names that have been provided and the appointment of a new member to the board, that being Mr. Corey. So it's a recommendation from the mayor's office to the council for final action.
Yes, I read it. I thought it was had to be written again. That's the way it's spelled here is that he had reappointed and appointing the following citizens to the Board of Adjustment. So I think the word should be recommended by the mayor to make the appointment.
Reappointed and appointed the following citizens.
I think what Mr.
Oh,
President
yes,
saying
I know,
is
it's
whether the mayor
recommendation.
appoints or whether the council appoints.
It's the council who appoints.
Yes.
I think the way, yes.
Yes.
The mayor or anybody from here can suggest the appointments, but
Right.
the motion that was made was to appoint the people that you mentioned. It's a council appointment.
I think maybe part of
Yes,
this.
do you have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any more discussion on it?
I think I made them.
You made the motion. Was there a second?
Mr. made the motion.
Okay, second.
If I can, Mayor, let me clarify it. George, should these have term limits on them? How are you?
3 years.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. George Nogales, Director of Planning. They are 3-year appointments. They can only be appointed for 2 years, and then that would be it. The
For 2
3
terms.
reappointments
Two
are
terms.
2 terms.
Yes. Thank you, George. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Number 8, consideration and possible action of order number 2011-03-016.
So moved. Second.
Thank you very much. Discussion? Mr. Anuncian?
Yes, this is for the sewer for Franklin Street, East Street, Short Street, and Little Page Street. Boy, it's quite a change there. But anyway, this is we have a grant for this. There isn't a grant on this.
Yeah, this is a grant through the EPA. It was done a few years back, and we're running on the end of the timeline available to get some of these projects done. It's a matching grant, and the match is part of the bond that was, I believe it was the bond, yeah, part of the bond that would be the matching component to that EPA grant.
Okay, so number 8 is just strictly authorizing to go ahead and bid out the engineering, right? Or to go ahead and give out the engineering?
Apparently the bid has already been done. This is the award of that bid.
This is the award of the bid.
This is the award of the bid. There's the apparent low bidder was Shia Stevens, if I pronounced that right. Our consultant found some errors in the bid document that was provided, and has recommended that the council award the bid to the next lowest bidder, which was a Standard Construction Company, and staff is moving that forward to you as a recommendation for tonight's action. It would take care of, you know, 2 of those neighborhoods, neighborhood 2, which are those streets that you talked about, Councilmember Hennessian, and also neighborhood 7, which is International Street, Dunbar Drive, and Hereford Drive. So,
But this is, Mr. Dilly, this is for the repair work, though.
it is.
This is not just for
This
engineers,
is
this is
for
for
actual
repair
repair
work.
This is repair work. I mean, we're at that point.
So we had already issued the engineering, had already been gone to engineering.
I'll have to defer that to our engineering department.
The only reason I say is because I don't remember having seen this. How long ago did this grant come up?
Good evening, Mayor Council, Juan Guerra, City Engineer. Yes, this is has been engineered. This is for the approval of the project, and we have still more neighborhoods coming next month.
But the question is, how long ago was the grant issued?
How long? I guess in 2004 or 5. I was not here when that was awarded, so was sitting that money for a long time.
We've been sitting on the money for a long time.
We've done some projects, right?
Well, since I started with those projects in 2007, we have done more or less more than 50% of the total budget.
And we do have the money.
The 2009 bond, a part of that bond is allocated as the matching money for the CPA grant.
And how much was the grant? You remember
The grant available for this sewer rehabilitation project, specifically for the repairs of sanitary sewers, was 5.5 million. And right now we are about.
The grant was for 5.5 million?
The grant allocated for the sewer rehabilitation, that was a remaining balance from the wastewater treatment plant.
No, this is the balance that.
Was some money that was dedicated to the sewer rehabilitation.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, just for the record, the total amount of that project are $618,058.75.
That's correct.
Thank you very much.
No, just so
Go ahead,
the whole
Charles.
thing is being given out to standard, and they're going to be.
For the project, for the specific roads listed in this staff summary report, yes, it's being awarded to that contractor. If you take action tonight on it.
No discussion? No? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Item number 9, consideration and possible action of order number 2011-03-017.
The mayor move that order number 2011-03-017 be approved.
Second?
Thank you very much. Discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Hennessian?
That was fine.
I heard him say something. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 10, consideration and possible action of order number 2011-03-018.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
I move to approve number 2011-03-018.
Second. Thank you very much. Discussion?
Mr. Dilly, this was brought up once before, and could you just give us a little rundown as to why it was brought back?
This is the solar
Right.
panel issue.
At that time, I think,
The item that was brought before council previously was an authorization to staff to go ahead and negotiate a contract with the recommended firm that was going to do a design build on these solar panels. This is also a grant that would bring solar powered energy to the Public Works building. Tonight, through our negotiation efforts in cooperation with our legal department and our engineering department, We have a contract for your consideration tonight as a council. We feel that the contract is kind of a win-win scenario for the city of Nogales, and again, allows us to move forward in taking that, that first step to maybe as a pilot program for other cities, city buildings to follow, perhaps. So we're very excited about this opportunity. I know that the contractors that we are recommending are here tonight to field specific questions, should there be any from the council. Over the life of this, equipment that we're proposing to put on the building, we're expected to save something to the tune of $240,000, which is no small chunk of change. And again, if we can do this on other buildings in the future, I think that represents our desires to be as efficient as we can be.
The question a lot is for the public. Originally, when we discussed this, we were talking about 25 kilowatt.
Okay.
Is how many kilowatts we were going to be getting.
Yes.
And looking at the contract, we're now discussing 36.66 kilowatts.
As we
and it seems that the money we're discussing is the same.
Yes, sir. We had some options in front of us as a city relative to this project. We could either just buy it outright, buy the equipment outright, and move forward, or we could venture into a lease type option with an outside entity. We have elected as staff to recommend to the council the lease option because what that affords us is a little more by way of money in the form of certain credits or incentives from the federal government that would not be available to us as a municipality, but is available to that third-party entity. And so because of those, because of those types of programs and some engineering on the project itself, enough was done by way of cost savings that we were able to do more with that grant and the incentives provided by the federal government and Unisource that allow us to get more than what we thought we were going to be able to get originally with this program, which is now the 36.6 kilowatts instead of the 25 kilowatts.
Go ahead.
That lease, is that an option to buy? And what would it be if it would come down to lease and option to buy?
It's really not structured as an option to buy. It's structured simply as a lease. But the terms of that lease are such that it really isn't very beneficial for the owner to keep it. In other words, if they decided to keep their equipment at the end of the lease, they would have to restore the roof of our building to its preconditioned state, and to do that is really not very feasible. And so the whole expectation of this program is that at the end of the lease period, just because of economics and financial reasons, the equipment would just be left. The city would assume ownership of it, and we would be able to continue to benefit from that equipment being on our building.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, Mr. Dilly, I congratulate you and the staff because obviously you people looked into it, and I congratulate you for finding something that basically brings us 11 more kilowatts for the same money, which does make a huge difference. So I personally congratulate you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 11, consideration and possible action, resolution number R2011-03-005.
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead.
I move to approve resolution number R2011-03-005.
Second.
Thank you very much. Discussion? Mr. Hanesian?
Again, Mr. Mayor, I think last time there was a question where this grant was going to be going to Perkins Street or not. Is this the same? This is the same.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Originally, the city had applied for a CDBG grant, and the intended use of that grant was to pave put a new surface of asphalt down on Perkins. As we began to evaluate that application of the grant, we realized that because of the infrastructure underneath Perkins and the things that we would have to deal with in order to put a new layer of asphalt down, we started wondering if there was a better use of that CDBG money. We've begun a program as staff to, make sure that we've taken care of everything under the ground, under the surface of the road, before we put a new layer of asphalt down, so that this community can enjoy that new asphalt, for the expected period of time, or the life of that asphalt. In our analysis, we decided that a better use of that CDBG money would be to essentially put a new road down on Walnut. Walnut is a major collector road for us. It's also a serious connection between I-19 and our downtown area for Nogales. Receives a lot of traffic, much more than most of our other roads in town. And we had an engineering advantage on Walnut in that under this EPA grant that we're doing, their sewer rehabilitation, in recent years we replaced the sewer line on Walnut, and in the course of replacing the sewer line, we've done some preliminary engineering work already. So we were ahead of the game on Walnut. We did like some survey work and some topo work, and we thought that if we could combine, in addition, the council had prioritized at the beginning of this budget year a capital improvement program and identified Walnut paving as one of the priority projects. So in combining the CDBG money and with the capital improvement money that we already have on the books for this year, and because we have a bit of a head start engineering-wise, we could take care of the water under Walnut, and we could resurface Walnut and get a whole complete project done. And so staff tonight, in working with CDBG and Siegel, we're recommending to you tonight and for your consideration to allocate the CDBG money in combination with our capital improvement monies to get Walnut Street completed.
And so Siegel is, the question was going to be, is there a problem with switching a grant that's been designated for a certain area to another area? Or Siegel is all right with that?
Siegel is all right with that. The big hurdle is what we're doing tonight, and bringing it back to council and making sure that we're good to go and it's the direction that the community wants to go.
And where does that leave Perkins Street then?
Perkins.
Because I think the idea was that with Perkins Street was what we were going to do Morley Avenue, and so in the meantime we were going to go ahead and do Perkins.
I don't know if I know, was Perkins identified in our capital improvement program at all? Mauricio, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Mauricio Chavez, Grants Administrator. Mr. Dilly, there was not a capital project list for Perkins Avenue. And upon speaking with Siegel, if we would have allocated the CDBG money when we were doing Morley Avenue, we would have, I guess, tainted the project. The Morley project would have tainted the Perkins and vice versa, and Davis-Bacon wages would have been applied to both projects.
Can you, for the benefit of all of us, can you explain what exactly you mean by one project affecting the other that way?
For example, Mr. Hansen, did you mention that we were starting Morley and we're going to do Perkins at the same time? That was the initial idea, to do that. But if we do Morley, I guess the reason that how I was explained by Siegel, if we did Morley at the same time we were doing Perkins with federal funding, which is CDBG money, then that pot of money would, I guess, be also tainted with the Morley Avenue money, meaning that all the requirements that are with CDBG money would have to go with the Morley Avenue project. And in that sense, the Morley Avenue project, I guess the base price or the bid price would increase dramatically.
And so in a follow-up question, so as we were talking with Siegel, they're the ones that identified this potential and they helped us to see the, the benefit in bringing more separation between those two projects. Under a timeline that we have with Segal on this CDBG grant, though, we have to move forward with something, and this made a lot of sense to us because we had done some previous work on Walnut.
That is correct.
Go ahead, Mr. Parra.
Yeah. What previous work did we do on Walnut Street? If we have to go back again.
We
on Walnut Street.
Yes, sir. We replaced the sewer line under Walnut, and because we had done that, we had done some engineering work associated with that. We could kind of build off of the work that we had done on Walnut, which gave us some engineering advantages to move forward with that.
Most of the time when you open up a trench with the sewer lines, you'll find other utilities with the same trench. Did you see that or replace anything there?
All they replaced were the sewer, was the sewer.
Because I had there was a couple of individuals on Walnut trying to pass a petition about what was going on Walnut, and I gave them this explanation that was going to be taken care of. They said they've been doing so many work there, the same places the water breaks down on them very often, so they were complaining, so I talked to them and I told them about this project. So.
I hope at the end of the day, it's a project that the community, the council can all be proud of. We expect that it'll, much like on the Morley side, we'll have all the utilities completely done and a new surface on that road, and it'll be a great asset to the community.
And the timeline we're looking at is?
The timeline for
actually doing the, I guess we're replacing water lines on Walnut, and then the sewer's already been done. I would assume, I don't know, has Unisource looked at the gas lines in Walnut?
I don't know about that, but as a standard courtesy to all utilities, they would be brought in, understanding that this project was moving forward and expected to take care of their utilities at the same time we're doing ours.
Okay, so that's the question. When are we going to be working on the water lines on Walnut? Are we saying in the next 60 days, 90 days, or?
Well, we'd have to go out for bid on those projects. We haven't designed the water line, so it would be much like the Morley project that we're going through. There would be an engineering time frame, and then we'd go out to bid on the actual construction.
And the money allocated is enough to do all of Walnut?
Yes, the actual asphalt portion we would do with city forces, but all of the other work, the engineering and everything, and the water construction and engineering would be done outsourced.
Mr. Dilly,
yes,
I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Mauricio, in my experience with Segal, one of the things that Segal does is when you have some money that they give you, especially the CDBG money, and you put it into a project, they expect you with that money to complete the project.
Yes, sir.
Am I right, Mauricio?
Mr. Mayor, that is correct.
Yes.
They have been informed that it would be in conjunction with bond money.
And to what I'm looking at and what I've heard in the past months is that even though if we wouldn't have had Morley's project going on, could we have completed all the Nogalitos area? Because I remember having that map that we all approved on about a year ago on doing Nogalitos. Could that 500,000 or 400-some thousand, because the administration money goes to Segal also, could that have completed that job?
Mr. Mayor, I can't answer that. I don't know the estimates on that project.
I don't know the exact answer, but because there's utility issues underneath.
That's what I'm saying.
Underneath Perkins, the money that we would have been given for paving on Perkins certainly would not have taken care of the whole problem.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, when we discussed it, all the discussion was on paving.
Yes,
the
I remember
discussion
that.
was not on changing the water line, and I agree. You got to change the water line. I mean, it's always been our problem, is the water line.
But that's one thing that we do have to take in consideration, maybe down the road. I understand Walnut is very important because of the collector. It's a collector road. And that is super important because of Grand Avenue and Western Avenue. But on the bond money that we have, we should look at, you know, there's money always left from some of the projects.
Yes.
And I think we should be pooling this money for future projects in the Perkins area and all that area, because either to complete the infrastructure, or what I'm talking about, utilities, or to prepare ourselves for a future project there, because those streets are needed very much. That's the reason we had made that decision a year and a half ago. I remember that.
Mr. Mayor, member of the council, on that note, it falls very well in timing. Over the next month, maybe month and a half, we'll have a series of meetings as council and staff in discussing our budget, and a big part of that budget is the capital improvement program. And so that's a great opportunity to take a new, fresh look at our needs and if necessary, reprioritize some of those projects to do what we need to do.
Because I always considered Morley Avenue project and Perkins and Frederick and all those streets being completed basically kind of like in the same timeline, because that would really complete all that area of Nogales at one time. But it's a good idea that during the budget that we start discussing that, because I understand what you're talking about. Both projects being involved, that would cause us problems. Federal money and
that's correct, Mr. Mayor. It would cause problems, and like I previously stated, Davis-Bacon wages would apply, and all the federal requirements would apply to both projects, and it would really increase the estimated cost of the Morley project.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Go ahead.
I think we gotta bear in mind that any buried utilities that's over 50 years old, it's gotta be changed.
Yes, we have to work on it.
I mean, it's not only in Nogales, it's nationwide. That's what's going on right now. So that's one of the main purposes we have to do. Keep that in mind at all times. The whole city of Nogales is over 50 years old.
Yeah, well, the line that they're going to change on Morley, Walnut is that cement asbestos line, the water line.
Yeah.
It's going to go from a 6-inch to an 8-inch line, so that's very important that that's done right now. I think,
yes. One other note on this whole venture, you'll see a major change in the thought process of staff as we're approaching these projects. You talked previously about all the discussion in the past has been about paving Perkins. Well, now as staff, when we approach these projects, ultimately we want a new surface road on these projects, but we're becoming more and more entrenched in that thought process. Okay, what's happening under the ground? We don't want to have a new pavement put down, and then 3 months from there we're cutting it up to fix something underneath the ground. And that's a fundamental shift in how we've approached these projects in the past. And I think it's going to serve this council, it's going to serve this community very well, because it'll be something we can be proud of when we get a project done.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jody. Any more discussion?
I don't know if it's got anything to do with it, and I don't know if I can ask the question. What happened to the contract on Morley Avenue?
I'll provide an update.
Beyond the scope of the agenda.
Yes. Mr. Hanesian, you are out of order. Any more discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Item number 12. Discussion and establishing timeline and process for upcoming city manager's evaluation. Motion?
So moved.
Thank you very much. Well, actually, the reason I put this on the agenda is because Mr. Julius' 1 year in service is coming up close, and it's near. So I just wanted to have Human Resources Director Mayra to explain to us basically the process that we want to bring up and to identify the evaluation form that we're going to be using and the timeline. And basically, it's going to fall in kind of like the same one we did for the previous city manager, but she'll explain to us.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, City Manager, City Attorney. I have order number 2009-04035, and I'll pass these to Councilman Diaz. And that's the order that was established approximately 2 years ago to conduct city manager evaluation and establish a timeline. That order ratified a previous action taken by the council, where when we first went to a council manager form of government, the council adopted a performance evaluation form based on some competency areas that were identified through the International City County Managers Association. In speaking with the mayor, I provide you that kind of as a resource, just so that you can look at it, start getting ideas. I'm also going to pass along to you a sample city manager performance evaluation that I obtained from the same website, from the ICMA website. And it's one that's been collaborated, or that it's collaborative. It's been given to the ICMA website by the University of Tennessee's Institute of Public Service. And what I like about this form that I'm going to pass out is that it's more quantitative. So it contains actual like numbers for scoring, and it guides, I think, the council, you know, in a really good manner through the performance evaluation. Some of what you have in the previous form can sometimes, if not guided properly, can lead to a more subjective evaluation rather than objective. And what you want is objectivity in your evaluation. You want to communicate with the city manager, you know, how well he's doing in fulfilling the responsibilities and duties of his position, and, you know, make sure that the goals and objectives of the council are being met. And so I think this form, you know, does it well. Also, I reached out to some of my counterparts from other communities, and the responses that I've gotten for how they conduct their city manager evaluations have varied, you know, greatly. Some cities don't have any formal methods. Some communities do an informal executive session where members of the council are given a form to guide their discussion, but nothing is really put in writing. Some of the councils have concerns with media requests, with public information requests, and I know that the majority of the cities that I spoke to, they do their evaluations in executive session, so that's really not something that is disclosed to the public. But some managers sometimes request that those discussions be held in public. Also, there's a concern from communities that the discussion is, you know, healthy and productive, and that it's inclusive of all council comments, so that it's not an individual councilman giving the city manager a personal evaluation, but rather a collective evaluation from the body as a city council. So those are some of the things that, you know, we've been, that I've been researching and talking to other counterparts about. I'm expecting some other forms that I'll share with the mayor, and if any of you have any ideas, I'm here to assist you with this process.
Thank you very much, Mayra. So to proceed with this, Mr. Billy, I don't know, Mr. Dugan and Mr. Machado, would be for us to study this, study the forms, and then come up with a timeline, or should we give direction to Mayra for the timeline? What would be the?
I would suggest that the council probably work through MIDA in terms of identifying a timeline, because you'll need to take into consideration when that anniversary mark is, and make sure that it coordinates with the meetings that you have as a city council. I know that councils in the past, I've been subject to all sorts of different kinds of evaluations. I think the ones that are most productive for me are the ones that are intended to be constructive and help me to do the job that you would expect me to do as your city manager. That being said, to be able to articulate that type of constructive input is really important, and I know that some councils in the past have elected to, you know, reach out to a retired public official, you know, and be that communication piece between the council working with you and me, you know, maybe a retired city manager of sorts. I've only done that once, but I've done it a number of other ways, and either way works. It's just that the end result is that constructive input is very important to me, and anything that MIDA can do to help you achieve that, you know, I'm certainly opening the door to to get her services.
Yeah, well, I'll work directly with the Director of Human Resources, but my concern right now, Mr. Jolie, is the timeline. I believe the evaluation should be done before or around the time that you have 1 year.
I would suggest that you target as the evaluation day when everything's said and done. I would suggest that we target the first meeting in May.
I've got a question.
Go ahead.
Does it have to be an annual? Because it doesn't 6 months after 6 months you can do it anytime?
You can do it at any time. It's all up to the council.
That's why I was thinking, you're talking about annual, that's why.
Yeah. The reason I was saying annual is because, I don't know, can we talk about this contract?
Sure.
Yes. The reason I was saying annual is because remember when Mr. Dilly was his contract was appointed, he has an option to come on board for another year. Mm-hmm. It's up to him. And his contract is a 2-year contract with an option to come on for 1 more year. So that's why I thought it was, you know, my concern was to have him for him to be evaluated at this time, so that you know, he's got to make a decision if he wants to be around for another year. You know, that's very important for me, and I think I'm sure it's important for you, Mr. Jody. I don't know.
Thank you.
But I'm looking at it in that way. I'm sure that we could evaluate you at any time, but in the past, there's been problems in evaluating city managers, and it's always been at the wrong time, it seems. And so I think I would like to have it done in a good amount of time and within 1 year's time. So
my contract specifies that the council would provide an annual evaluation for me. I approach evaluations, I think we all strive to approach evaluations as staff from a standpoint of, you know, really no surprises. You know, obviously the opportunity to input, you know, to me individually, in terms of things going right or things maybe needing to change, is afforded to each of the council members during our monthly one-on-ones. And I can take that information individually. As a council, if you as a council wanted to provide that kind of feedback to me more frequently during the year, all we have to do is schedule an executive session, and we go in and we have a dialogue about how things are going, and I welcome that kind of input. I really don't think it's appropriate. Sometimes it doesn't always play out that way, but really the best kinds of evaluations are ones that are constructive and really don't blindside anybody. You know, if there's a real issue going on, you would expect that kind of dialogue would come up, and I would know about it when it's an issue. And obviously, if I'm not performing after being, you know, told about an issue, why then that's a whole different story. But if it came up in an evaluation, I wouldn't be surprised because it had already come to my attention as a council. But my evaluations really ought to be done as a council. You know, it really, you know, if we're going to do quarterly evaluations or mid-year evaluations or annual evaluations, my composite score on an evaluation should reflect what the council as a body is saying, not just individual council members. I think that's very important.
thank you very much.
Mr. Dilly, we were given two different forms of evaluation. I think we just got to narrow it down to one form.
What you have is the previous form was derived from the same source that this form came from, which is the International City Managers Association.
Okay, so
this form is the latest that ICMA is putting out on their website, and it's the one that MIDA had identified as being a little more quantitative. It has some kind of scoring mechanism, which is very helpful in bringing about you know, a final message to the person you're interviewing or you're evaluating.
So we're going to go with this one.
That's your decision.
That's your decision. That's the decision we have to make as a council.
Okay. Now, Well, right now we can suggest it, because I don't think, is this an action item or no action?
No.
It's not an action item. So I mean, can we suggest?
Can we suggest them?
Well, you can suggest and give directions at this point, but I guess what Mida's looking for is some type of direction. And she'll come back with a suggestion and the timeline. Like, for example, the mayor wants it done before May. So with that in mind, she can work up something.
Yeah, what we can do is just, let's take these and read them and, you know, between yourselves and then discuss it. And then, you know, I'm sure you can really discuss it with Mayra, each one of you. And then later on, we'll bring it back to a council meeting and make the decision. And then at that time, I guess we'll address the timeline with that.
I'll be prepared to present an order for the April meeting for the mayor and council to consider, with a timeline and a form to establish that.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Item number 13, future agenda items. Going once, going twice. Item number 14. That's the way I should do all the orders. Item number 14, Mayor's and Council's report on current events. Mr. Diaz, we'll start with you, sir.
Okay, I have a couple of things here. I've been in contact with Mr. Tim O'Neill from the U.S. Department of Labor and Mr. David Valderrama from the Department of Economic Security. What they're doing is they will be meeting at they're going to have a conference at the BFW March 16, and it's to what they want to do is get together with the people doing the Mariposa Port of Entry, which is Hansel Phelps Construction Company. I was in contact with Mr. Jose Diaz, who's the project manager.
Double digit, you?
He's my twin. He's my twin. So with that, so the purpose of them being here is to hire local people, laborers, and that's the whole purpose of them coming and meeting down here, to get everybody working on the project together, so they can hire local people. And hopefully it'll be a smashing success, and we'll have a bunch of our local people hired. The next thing I want to bring up is their Land Jam. I know the mayor's going to be interested.
Yes.
They're going to have the 23rd annual concert at the Keno Sports Complex, March 26th of this year. They're going to have a car show, chili cook-off, a concert from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. All these activities. So if anybody wants to go, it's $5 admission.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hanesian?
Nothing, I've said enough.
No. Serious?
I'm only glad my partner here doesn't say it.
Vice Mayor? Thank you. Lopez?
Okay, yes. First of all, I want to thank the city manager for the retreat that we had. It was really a good experience. I think that we were able to know what others are expecting within this year. And I think it was, to me, it was a very good experience. And it was very informal, so we didn't have really the stress of being here in the council. So thank you again, it was very good. On top of that, I had a meeting with a regidora from Magdalena, Lisette Cervantes, regarding, they want us to participate on the coming events for Father Kino. We were also at the firma de hermanamiento at the consulado between Nogales, Sonora and Nogales, Arizona, which is something very good for the community and is going to bring us a lot of good things in the future. I also attended the Image Committee reunion created by the mayor, and all the ideas that are going to be brought up I think it's really something very good, but I think this has more information on that. I was also at the Centennial Reunion to hear firsthand about the projects and events on how our community will participate in this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I also want to just remind you that we are gonna have the 11 on the Nogales High School auditorium. I left flyers outside, and it's gonna be La Mujer Mexicana, Poesía, Palabra y Canción. It's free admission at 6 p.m. at Nogales Auditorium. And also they send us a special invitation for La Liga Municipal de Béisbol. It's the inauguration. It's gonna be March 6th at 1 p.m. War Memorial Park. That's all.
I want to report that the mayor and I attended the SEGO meeting, and it was very informative. We talked about the important factor was transportation, and it's very important that we continue with that transportation factor that we had many years ago, and it died down. Why it died down, I don't know, but they're pushing that we go into that transportation real heavily. And it was a very informative meeting. It lasted quite a bit. We were there for from 10 till about 3, somewhere around there. But it was very informative. And we've had our ABT meetings. We're having another ABT meeting. I invite everybody tomorrow at 10:30. And again, it's very informative. If you have any questions on your insurance, we have it every the last Thursday of the month, but we had to go to the next one this month because some people couldn't attend. But I invite everybody to go to that EBT meeting. It's really important and very informative for everybody that does use your insurance, and you want to ask some questions. That's a place to do so. That's about it, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Perez. I want to say that in February, the city of Nogales, Sonora, and the city of Nogales, Arizona now have a sisterhood agreement that we will be working together with different projects, anywhere from ranging from economic development to tourism, to maquiladoras, to security along the border. So this is very important for both communities. That was signed at the Consulado. Another thing that I did right after that is I was invited by Customs and Border Protection Commissioner Alan Bursing and Chief of Staff Marco Lopez to tour the southwest border, which is very, very interesting. I cannot believe how much work Customs and Border Protection and Homeland Security are doing on the southwest border. They took me, I went on a Black Hawk helicopter and toured all the towers, all the installations they have out in the desert. They're putting a lot of work up there. I can't understand how somebody or another organization can actually say that our border is out of control and we live in a war zone. The work they're doing out there is unbelievable, and I hope everybody would get an opportunity to do that, especially my colleagues, because it was an eye-opening experience. I enjoyed it very much. Another thing that I did this past month, I got together with Carondelet Hospital, and I also met with the director and one of the doctors from Mariposa Clinic. One of the projects that I've been pushing very hard is improving the image of our community. And it was shocking to me when these two organizations that belong to our community came to me in my office and said that they're having problems recruiting doctors. I could not believe that. And that's because of the perception of the crime in Nogales, Arizona. That we need to fight. As a community, we need to fight that, and as a council, we need to fight that. We need to take our message outside our city limits and outside our county. Because doctors from the Midwest and back east that actually apply and go online for these hospitals, and then they Google it, and then they start seeing things that are happening. They're actually not happening in Nogales, Arizona. They're happening in Nogales, Sonora, or in the Mexican side of our border. It reflects us a lot. So it's you, the directors, and everybody, our citizens. We need to combat this, and this is very important. And I ask you to help me out with this, because it's going to be an effort that's going to be done by all of us. On behalf of that, just image building, I got together with some citizens from Nogales, and we came up with a slogan Nogales AZ, a great little place to be. You're among friends. And I plan to put this through the city council for bumper stickers that will go in every vehicle possible in the city of Nogales, so when you go to Tucson, Phoenix, or anywhere, this is on your bumper sticker so people can actually see that our community. Follow you back, preferably. You know, that's what I'm hoping. So, to pass these ones so that all the council can have that. Another thing that I also did, and I'm working right now with a couple of organizations for a program for child abuse, and we're going to have a marathon. That'll be in April, and it'll be coming out pretty soon, so everybody can attend. That's very important for our community and for the children that need that support from the community. Also, let's start working as a community. We had a group of people just to get some points out, and these are community people, not the complete wheel, as you say, per se, to get this event going. This is a centennial. So we got together and we came up with some points, and those points, once those points are connected, Nogales, I'll put it this way, Nogales will be like the axle of the wheel, and then from that axle we're going to have spokes coming out, and then from there's going to be the chamber, it's going to be the international, it's going to be the MPOs, it's going to be NCD, they're going to have the Port Authority, and then the city administration, the staff, and everybody, and community leaders. Once we create that wheel and that organization, that's the process, and that's the direction we should take as a community for our centennial, because the centennial actually is a state event. It's not a Nogales event. So we're going to go after. We're going to see if what kind of funding the state of Arizona has to assist us in this, and once we get those letters out to the state of Arizona and see if there's going to be something coming our way, then we'll start going. If not, it's going to be a community event and something that we have to put together ourselves as volunteers and as a community. So this is my report, and I hope we can proceed with this, and with the help of the council. I really appreciate that if we can succeed in this. It's very important for our community. Thank you very much, Mr. Dilly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you to the council for all your updates. How about those Apaches, huh? Yeah. That is absolutely fantastic for this community. A lot of energy behind it. I remember Sunday coming down 82 and getting to Grand Avenue, and all of a sudden the traffic was stopped, and the procession was allowed to go through the intersection. And after the initial team on their bus and the escort, there must have been a mile of parents and, you know, students waving and flags and everything, and it was just a lot of energy, and it was great to see. So I'm proud of those guys. To kick off my update to the council, I just wanted to maybe embarrass a little, but not intentionally, but I wanted to let you know that we celebrated Juan's birthday today, and I tried as hard as I could to get him to wear one of those birthday hats. You know, I couldn't get him to go there, but anyway, happy birthday, Juan. Thank you.
Why wasn't I invited?
It's just a staff thing there.
That's not what they said that's not what they said when they asked me for $1 yesterday.
Mental note.
Just joking.
Yeah, I got it.
Why was Mr. Parada invited then?
Yeah, that was there. What time you were there?
That's good.
He gave $2.
That's why.
It only gets better. It only gets better. Thank you very much again. Thank you for your time on Friday and Saturday at the retreat. I can't tell you how helpful it is going to be to have the kind of input that you provided as a council in putting together a strategic plan for this, you know, for this organization. Mary, you were talking about you know, the city being the, you know, the axle, right?
Yes.
in order for that to really work, and seeing how all these pieces fit together, it only makes sense to make sure that the axle is well greased and it's functioning the way it ought to. And that corporate strategic plan is going to help us achieve that. And that's going to be in place as a living document longer than as elected officials, longer than me as a city manager. It's there for this community, and it'll help bring the continuity that some of you talked about in terms of your input during the process. It'll help with keeping that continuity there and the strength at the core. So thank you for your time, and more will come by way of product as we get closer to bringing forward a report for you, okay? By way of budget preparation, as staff, we've been hard at it this week. We'll finish the week out still hard at it, getting through all of the departments and talking about each of the requests and how that's fitting in terms of their needs as a department. Again, it's a lot of effort, it's a lot of work. We do have some meetings that were scheduled as the council kind of adopted that budget calendar. We're slated to have a study session with the council on March 9th, and another one towards the end of the month. I believe it's like March 28th. Our goal is to shoot for those days and being able to provide the council with information by which you guys can take and give input back to staff and help us in directing us to put a budget together. Our goal is to be able to present to you a balanced budget. And then make sure that we're tying in your community initiatives, things that are big picture, things that you need us to go and direct and support through that budget. That's our goal. Was that Chief? Oh my gosh. We need that sign right there, and let's put it on his office door. Okay. Tax dollars, hard at work. Okay, finally, again, on the Morley Avenue project, we had bid openings yesterday. I took a quick glance at those bids. All of them came, as far as I could see, all of them came under our budget, so that's very good news. Those bids will be tabularized, and we'll be bringing that forward to you. Maybe we'll hit the first study session. We'll agendize it so that you guys can take action and help us move forward with that project. But we did get the bids in yesterday, and they all look, at least on the dollar number, very favorable. So.
Is there anything like it says no change orders or something like that?
All of us would wish that.
I know.
But we're all working towards that goal, though. So, and I think that concludes my update to the council.
Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned.